Welcome back. And joining us now are Jackie Insinger and Monica White, co-creators of Spark Brilliance for Educators, a growing movement aimed at empowering teachers and reigniting passion in the classroom. And what better day to be talking about this than Teacher Appreciation Day. Great to have you both with us. And I know that you're launching a book that's all part of your movement today for Teacher Appreciation Day, and we'll get right into that. But Spark Brilliance for Educators highlights strategies to combat burnout and boost student engagement, which is so important at this time. What was the most surprising discovery for you along this journey?
Go ahead.
Okay, so the most surprising to me was when we did this work in classrooms, how quickly we saw transformation and how quickly the kids responded to this work and the framework that they were using in classrooms, and led to test scores increasing significantly that quickly. So this work worked, and it worked really fast. It shows how much it was needed.
Amazing, and I want to hear more about what is involved with this, actually.
Yeah, so the book is just a small part of the program that we've developed as well. But it really, when we wrote it, it was really about getting back to the teacher level and making education exciting again. Teachers get so mired down with policies and mandates and all of the things that keep coming down, when really they showed up every day for the students that we're able to serve. And so this really gets back down to the roots of serving children, taking care of children, and then once we take care of them, then they start to flourish and grow.
And that's the reason most teachers get into the work, right? The profession
Exactly.
is that connection. And as you mentioned, this authentic connections is something that you focus on quite a lot. How does that show up in your work?
So I always have this infamous saying, because I'm from Idaho and we do a lot of whitewater rafting, and we always say slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And teachers oftentimes don't have that time to really slow down to create the authentic connections that students need to really flourish. But we really believe if you can slow down, create them, then the learning is going to accelerate much faster. So that's what it's really about. It's just slowing down, and not just the connections of who we are, but how we learn, how we see the world, and where our brilliance lies.
Wow, and this is empowering both for children and for teachers. And
Absolutely.
you're, you're such an amazing pairing here because of your experience, right? So you've been in the school system, and you're all about inspiring leaders. And yet often teachers, they are leaders, but it doesn't, maybe it gets trampled, or it's hard to maintain that, right? So how does your experience kind of draw this out in teachers?
So I think you're absolutely right. Teachers are leaders, and a lot of times they don't think of themselves that way. And I think it's even more critical when I moved and shifted to launch this work with Monica, was this idea of not just leaders over time, right? Leaders in corporate world have time, and they have usually a smaller group that they're working with over time. And in the classroom, you have a tiny segment of a human lifespan to have and create transformation. And it is so critical that you create transformation at scale in that small time period. So how much you have to give and know and have a scalable, replicable framework to lead effectively in that time frame was like taking something and magnifying it. So it was really cool to see.
Incredible. And how has that been to see that applied in the classroom?
Oh, it's been unbelievably. We have one student that I like to talk about, and I work with some students that really struggle in education. They struggle in life. And she said after going through the Spark program, she could look herself in the mirror for the first time ever and really see the human that she was and her role in contributing to her community and what she was all about. And so really it was that slowing down and giving the student the deeper purpose of who they were. And that's where we see the transformation in students. And then it transfers over, because once the student gets to that point, it's a much different world in the classroom and when you're teaching children.
Wow, this is core transformation stuff, right down to the identity level. That's a lifelong gift, really.
Yeah.
So you talk about career-connected learning in your work, and that's central to the Elevate Academy that you've got. So how can schools integrate this through their, how does that apply first, and then how can schools integrate?
Yeah, so the work that I do in schools is really about connecting a why behind everything that a child does. And so our students, and we are all career connected, and I run trade schools, but everything students learn is connected to the trades. So what we're all about is finding the genius in every single child, because there really is one. And so if we expect students every day to go through the same routine and we don't mix it up for them, it is really, really hard to find that genius oftentimes, because it doesn't always lie in the math classroom or the English classroom. It lies in so many different ways. Leadership, maybe they're a great welder. There's many ways that we are all gifted. And so our job in education is, how do we find that true gift and that brilliance in every child?
Wow, so the environment really drawing it out of them, and this is almost also tying into how the environment can draw out the brilliance and the gift in the teacher too.
Yes.
And yet it does come down to mindset, this identity thing. How does mindset impact teachers at this critical point?
There's so much about mindset in the book. There's a lot of positive psychology infused in and neuroscience infused in, and really finding kind of that intersection where authenticity and positivity meet. We call that Ted Lasso leadership, right? It's a magical spot where hope is created, and like hope in action. And that is so critical again today in our time with a loneliness epidemic and a trust deficit and people behind screens. And since COVID, there's been so much separation that we felt as humans, right? We might be more connected ever digitally, but not in real life, not human to human connection and that depth of connection. And kind of coming back to that we all need and crave, and bringing that to the classroom through the program, through that positive lens and mindset. And we found that when teachers implemented this in classrooms, their burnout went down over 25%.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty exceptional to see.
Yeah, this feels like it could really affect it. I mean, it is a movement, but it could really ripple throughout the states.
That's the hope.
Yeah, and so where do people start? I mean, you've got a book.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about the book, so people can just start with the book itself, or it plugs into the program you've got?
Yeah, so the book, what we did is we created a framework that teachers can use immediately. So it's actionable, it's usable, it's a playbook. And so at the end of each chapter, there's a QR code that the teachers can download, a resource guide that they can implement in action in their classroom immediately. So they don't have to wait to become a school that does this work, that they can use it. It's all actionable to start implementing now.
Yeah. Slow is fast.
Slow is very fast, yeah.
Right. Any words of, this is a very hopeful movement, but is any words of hope from what you've seen and you've experienced for a teacher out there who may be listening, or even a parent who has a child that's struggling, even for parents, how can they plug into this?
Absolutely. So parents, we've also seen this used in homeschool co-ops, which is a powerful place for parents to choose to have their kids at home for school. But with parents, everything in here, we say a playbook for the classroom and life. I mean, I use some of this stuff at home with my own children and my husband, because it's really just about how do we connect and bring out the best in each other. And so it's applicable all over throughout your entire life. But with teachers specifically, all over the media, everywhere we go anymore, you see the negative with teachers. Teachers are out there doing amazing work all over the country, and they need to be honored and they need to be valued. And Spark Brilliance is really just another tool in the toolbox to bring out the best in them and their students, above and beyond the great work that they're also doing.
So good, and we have about 30 seconds left. Jackie, I'll give you the last word.
Oh, okay, thank you. We appreciate you, teachers. Thank you so much. Today's Teacher Appreciation Day, so gift this to a teacher that sparked something in you, and that would be the ask today, and appreciate them. Pass it on.
That's it. All right. Thank you so much. Great to speak with you both and hear your amazing story and your amazing movement. Jackie Insinger and Monica White.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.